Before getting into the show, just a massive shout out to Hoyt's High Point for providing us with some special pre-screening tickets to see this movie before release. Kane, how freaking cool is that?
It is so exciting, and we're just so honoured to have been a part of this and to bring this new episode to the fans, to you guys.
They provided this screening early so that we could get this episode out as early as possible to you guys. So, hopefully you enjoy, and let's get into the show.
Let's go.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Here's the first movie.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Peel that pig and slice him thick.
The body count is always bigger.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
And the fucking trees walked in those movies. Hi, doggy.
What a story, Mark.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
It's just like your opinion, man.
Life moves pretty fast.
If you want your sequel to become a franchise.
37 dicks.
In a row?
I'm your number one fan.
Hello and welcome everyone, not just to Marathon Me, but Marathon Me 2.0. The updated series. We're in a new set with a new structure, looking and improving everything we have done wrong so far. How long has it been since our last podcast came?
It's literally been like, I think, a year, like maybe close to a year or maybe a little bit over, but it's basically been a year. Let's just leave it at that.
It has been a very, very long time since we've recorded this podcast because we recorded a huge backlog, didn't get the music sorted for a long time, but finally we are back recording. Life has changed quite a bit, but what has also changed is our show structure. So these are going to be the differences, guys. So we're in a new set, new house that I've moved into. The room is probably double the size that I was in before, so a lot less crowded. We don't have to, but before, even just my laptop setup had like almost a charger cable wrapped around you, Kane, just so we could record this freaking show.
Yeah, I felt like I was tangled up in a bunch of spider webs. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was not ideal, but now we're in a we're far more professional now. We're in a slightly bigger bedroom.
We're back and better than ever.
Exactly. We're with bigger bedrooms, bigger shows, bigger heart in this.
Bigger egos. Nah, scratch the last part.
So before we start the actual show, I'll outline a little bit of these new changes to Marathon Me 2.0. So we're going to have a non-spoiler section and a spoiler section, I reckon, for not all films, but especially for something like today where it's a film that just came out. We don't want to ruin it for you people.
Yeah, like more so for new releases that the public would like to see, but you know, like get like a general idea of like the opinions and like what they're in store, what like the film has in store for them without getting into like the big story and character details and all that.
Exactly. Ghostface himself told us at the start of this movie to not spoil the film for anyone.
And we gotta adhere to his word or else he's gonna come for us, you know? And we don't want that.
Who would go against what Ghostface is telling you?
Precisely.
So because of that, I think that we should just be... we're going to have a non-spoiler section for a majority of it and outline explicitly when the spoiler sections are coming up. I think that for older classic movies, I think that is probably... Well, it'll be on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Usually, new releases, we'll do the very outlined, clearly spoiler and non-spoiler section. For older classics, like, let's just say we're doing the first Scream movie. Well, if you would want to see this, you've seen it.
Most film fans would have seen films like classic films like Scream or like I don't know, like
the first Alien movie.
Yeah, the first Alien movie, maybe even the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. You know, like,
yeah.
No one's going to get pressed about spoilers for those films that are really old. You know,
we'll outline it anyway for you.
Yeah,
so that'll be fine. Also, we're going to try and attempt at more structure. Because we've been accused by some people of going on tangents and not talking about the movie, which is completely inaccurate.
Lies and slander, honestly.
Oh, God, this is nothing to... Yeah, we would never do anything like that. But we're going to try a little bit more structure, I think. As well as having episodes recorded closer to the release, because I was listening to some of our more recent podcasts that we've recorded, and one of them was like, hey everyone, we're recording this on the last day of 2020.
Oh my God, what review was that for?
I think that was for like our Bottle Rocket or Rushmore review, which was posted a year after our actual recording of it, and felt a little bit probably outdated. Right now, to give context to when we're recording this, so it is the 13th of January 2022, the release date of Scream 2022, or Scream 5. I think that we're just going to call it Scream 5
Call it
today.
Scream 5. We're not calling it the stupid, we're not calling it just Scream.
It's just so much easier to get it that
Yeah.
way. Because we were privileged enough to get a pre-screening for this film. It's like 1 a.m. on the 13th right now because we watched the movie the night before, thanks to Hoyt's High Point, and then we immediately went home and I'm recording this podcast so that we can get it out for you as soon as we possibly can.
With all the thoughts still fresh in our head, we still feel all giddy about after watching the film, so we want to just get all these thoughts and feelings right out to you guys as soon as possible.
The things that we are doing for you, the amount of caffeine and alcohol that we have in our system right now to give us confidence as well as keep us awake during this, is really a testament to how much we care about getting this out there. Mm-hmm. And episodes close to release date. Also, this is something recommended by my mum that I think is actually a fair point.
Yeah, this is my fault.
We're gonna try and get the swearing just cut down a little bit. We can have the odd fuck here and there.
Yeah.
I think that is fair. But we'll probably try and keep the C word to a minimum.
Yeah, maybe like one every couple of episodes, but not like just constant, just C-bombing. I'm guilty of that, alright? I'll take full responsibility for this. I'm sorry to the more sensitive viewers that don't like that kind of language. I get that. And that's why we're gonna try to keep it to a more minimum, to make it more accessible to, someone of a young age or someone who's more sensitive to those kind of words.
This isn't gonna be like a kid's podcast, but we're gonna try and keep the C word to a minimum.
It's not going to be a kids podcast. I thought the next episode was we're talking about Cocomelon. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, I think that it's also a weird thing too that in Australia the C word isn't a big deal, really.
No, and then America and Britain, it's just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, everywhere it's going to be a much more sort of. I think it's taken with a lot more intensity overseas.
Yeah, definitely.
So overseas, interesting. Yeah, this whole debate over the seas, overseas. Oh, very, very bizarre. So that's going to be our changed Marathon 2.0. Welcome to the next evolution of the podcast.
Chapter 2, boys. Let's get right into boys and girls. Let's get right into it.
Exactly. And before we go on to the actual podcast, I think we also should have a quick, brief personal life update because we have not spoken to you for a year. What has been going on recently with you, Kane, in a brief synopsis?
How in depth are we gonna get with this? Like how personal do you want me to get?
I think just the life changes, things that would seem jarring that we should update the listeners on.
Okay. Well, I'll start off with I got a job as a waiter at Pancake Parlor.
Good man.
I'm mainly doing it as a practice for to start bartending because I actually also got my RSA during the middle of the year, during the I think it was the 5th lockdown that happened.
Oh yeah, we had a whole lockdown as well. Melbourne has been on and off with lockdown.
We had
through
2, I'm pretty sure, in 2021.
Another thing that hasn't aged well is us during the during one of the end of 2020 podcasts where thank God, 2021. There's not going to be any COVID in this year.
Oh yeah, and then we had two strain. We had a new strain. We had the Delta strain last year. Now we got the Omicron the strain this year. I cannot wait for the Decepticon strain to come out.
Well, COVID has apparently hit quite personally to one of us.
Yes, actually, I'd say last week. Last week I actually contracted COVID, which was a lot of fun. I don't know from where, but because I work in hospitality and I travel quite a bit. I always try to make sure that I'm safe, but I sadly COVID finally got me after basically 2 years, and it wasn't fun. Obviously, it was not fun. I did not feel a lot of symptoms to myself, but it wasn't a fun experience, all in all. But I literally got out of it just a couple days ago, right before we're supposed to go see Scream 5. So thank goodness, because I would have cried, and I'm sure Reese would have as well.
That was the one thing that I was like, please no, I do not want to get COVID before this screening. I got the email from Hoyt saying that we had gotten these tickets, and I immediately called Kane to tell him, and I was like, Kane has COVID right now. Please get over this as quick as you possibly can.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was for lack of a better word, I was terrified. I was miserable because if we missed out on this, it just would have been a real, shot us in the foot, basically, in terms of, like, this podcast. Because, like, it's really good that we can get this episode out as quick as possible, so that way, good publicity kind of thing. And then also it's like just very like updated, since we've been covering old movies, we finally get to do a relevant recent movie.
It's the most professional that I feel so far that we've been able to go to a pre-screening and get invited because of the podcast, which is freaking amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I had a shift tonight at work, actually, that I had to call my manager and just say, like, hey, I have a very important business meeting tonight. I can't come to work. He was fine with it because my manager's really chill. Shout out to my manager. But yeah, I mean,
well, if they hear this, then they'll know that. This is what it was for.
Well, they'll understand. All right, they'll understand. But technically, it was a business meeting. This is our business that we are trying to start up,
and we are meeting
exactly, and we were meeting. So technically, I wasn't lying.
It was a business obligation that had no way of moving it. It would have been a bit It would have been a bit of a stretch for us to be like, "Hey, so Hoyts, do you mind if this happens like another night, just to make it away, just to move it away? Do you mind just shifting the release date of this film just a couple days, just because it makes our life a little bit easier?"
Oh my goodness, it would have been terrible. But managed to get out of work and just. Yeah, went to this screening problem-free, basically.
And for me, in the last 12 months, there has been I've moved house.
You've had radical changes.
Very big changes. I no longer have a girlfriend. Very, very sad.
Rest in peace.
That's pretty much the biggest things. And during, there was a big-ass 3-month lockdown where I was very lonely for that whole period and still sort of trying to recoup my mental state from all the loneliness. That's pretty much the only sort of updates that I think are notable, because everything else has just been so freaking stagnant and weird. But one thing that I'm passionate about, that I'm so happy to be doing again, is recording this podcast. So without further ado, I'm here to introduce our movie of the week, updating our Scream franchise, 2022, or Scream 5. Here's a bit of the trailer for you guys.
There's certain rules to surviving. Believe me, I know. They always come back. The killer is a part of something in the past. This one just feels different.
You're all in danger.
Mom?
Where? Sydney.
I've seen this movie before.
Not this movie.
You said we were gonna finish this. Go finish it, Sydney.
Pretty freaking hyped. So, first of all, how was the cinema experience?
Mate, it was great. It was my first, I think, was it your first time in a Lux theater?
It was, my first time in a Lux theater before.
Yeah.
And very fancy. You were treated like freaking royalty in there, man.
Complimentary popcorn, complimentary drinks. Oh my goodness.
We sound so much like we're freaking ad readers to just vouch for this cinema.
I mean, look, we're not being sponsored we're not being paid by them, but it was a great experience though.
Yeah, we're really not. We're really not at all. It was very, very surprising, because first time that I've seen a Scream film in a cinema.
Yeah.
It was nothing like at the start of Scream 2.
Yeah, which was a bit disappointing, I won't lie. But you know what? Things are different compared to 1997. So you know what? I won't fault the film for lacking in that experience.
It was nothing like any of the stab. And it wasn't anything like the stab showing where people were running up and down the aisles. That no one was wearing Scream masks and just going like, "Yeah, oh my god, get her!" every time there was a murder.
The closest we got was we wore Reese, you wore a Scream t-shirt, and then I wore a Scary Movie t-shirt, which they connect. The parody, the original,
they go hand in hand.
Exactly. To watch the new film, it's perfect.
Neither of our t-shirts even had like Ghostface on it.
No, exactly.
Which I sort of love though, because it shows that like the original, well, with my shirt anyway, it shows that the original Scream wasn't all about just look at Ghostface, look at it.
Yeah,
it's more about the whole like slasher genre as a whole, and like standing for something more than just look at this dude.
Look at this
with
new
a mask.
iconic killer. Like, look at this man, the new Jason, the new Freddy, if you will.
Yeah, there wasn't anything like that. But on the actual film, what is your opinion on this movie?
I thought it was good. I had a great time with it. I was very hesitant. Well, not hesitant, but I was worried when it was announced, as I don't know if we discussed this in the ranking episode, but I feel like maybe we kind of aired some of our maybe concerns about the film before its release.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, probably. But I was concerned that this film maybe would have, because it's not being directed by Wes Craven, nor is it being written by Kevin Williamson. So that lack of the original creator, obviously Wes Craven, sadly passed away, rest in peace. But it lacked the original creators. So, going into it, it's, you're worried that it's not going to carry the same spirit as the original films. Even with, some of the lesser films like Scream 3 and 4, they still carried the spirit of the original film. And going in, you're kind of worried. But luckily, this film did not fall flat. This was a great time and a great continuation and reintroduction to the Scream franchise, to the town of Woodsboro, to the characters that many a horror fan grew up watching and still love to this day.
I'm pretty sure that from memory, our greatest fear was that they were going to just ditch the meta commentary and just sort of appropriate the franchise as just being Ghostface killing people. And that's what I think that our biggest fear was going to be, because Kevin Williamson managed to write all these films that they still worked as standalone slasher movies, but they all had meta commentary about how it existed in the Scream franchise. The first one being this meta analysis and commentary on the slasher film as a whole, the second one being on slasher sequels, the third being on trilogies, that sort of thing. Even Scream 4 being a whole commentary on reboots.
Yeah, reboots and remakes, yeah.
Where this one was commentary on the re-quel, where it definitely wasn't subtle about that. They literally said it to us. But that was done, I think, so well because it still continued that purpose. Even though that it wasn't written by Kevin Williamson, you could really tell that it was written by fans of the franchise that knew what it was about. Yeah. They didn't just appropriate it and exploit it. It wasn't something like some of the Halloween sequels that are just, okay, so we'll get Michael Myers and then we'll just do something. Yeah. We'll just get him to kill people.
Yeah, literally just making a horror film with just focusing on the iconography of the main antagonist and not on some of the more on the actual characters or the themes or what the film stood for, what the films kind of stood for. The original Halloween stood for, what it stood for was basically a kind of homage to Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And then the later sequels, they just were all right, nah, fuck all that subtlety, fuck all that kind of, subtlety. I couldn't think of the other word, but let's just focus on Michael Myers, just killing people left and right.
Let's get rid of all the nuance.
That's the word. Yeah, nuance.
It just exploits and gets it really just boils down what the franchise is about, and it leaves all the rich substance of it and just takes the surface level reading of it. It really feels like that they. Let's just say Halloween Resurrection, which that's the one, correct, where with Busta Rhymes.
Yes, the best one, yes.
Yeah, where it's a freaking reality TV show with Michael Myers coming into the house, and it just has no freaking depth whatsoever. With that, it's like the director or writer hadn't even watched the first movie.
It felt like a parody. It felt like it was directed by the dudes that did the other parody movies, Date Movie, Epic Movie, and all that shit.
It's like that they saw the Halloween movie poster and was like, I know what makes this good. I know what people like about this movie. The Michael Myers fella, he's the one. And then they just make it based off of that, not what the series is trying to say or do. Where this one fucking did it. They knew what the franchise was about and made it relevant and worthwhile to make this movie. It had, I think, it has every right to exist. You know how always, all the time, like with sequels or reboots or just continuations to any sort of media, there will be so many people that it's like, this just didn't need to exist.
Yeah,
and I sort of get that.
They feel pointless and needless. Like, for example, like say the later Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, like Texas Chainsaw 3D, that Leatherface movie that no one watched. Like, I think they're coming out with a new one even, that I think I read about. But like those films, why were they made? It's just like, why were they made? Like, no one really cares about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a franchise. Sure, like, people, give a shit about the original, or to a lesser extent the remake, but like, that's not really something that people were yearning for. And then also to have the films be just like trash, just really just spits on like the iconography of Leatherface and like the the legacy of the original being, one of the first like big kind of exploitative not really slasher film, but you know what I mean, like one of the big like horror films of the 70s.
So it's probably not a big surprise, but I fucking loved this movie, honestly. I couldn't tell. Yeah, I had such a good time with it, and gotta say, pretty big thing here, but personally, I think that they could have not done this better. Like, for a requel to the Scream franchise, I don't know how they could have done it better, honestly. They didn't, like, the only bits that I sort of doubted or went, oh, okay, were only very minor details that didn't I think explicitly affect the quality of the film. So I just had a lovely time. I thought that it was all useful, meaningful, and also just full of fan service, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think fan service that works and has depth.
Yeah, no, definitely. You could, like you said earlier, that it was made by like fans of the series and the original. I agree. You can tell that there was a lot of passion put into this film. Like the directors, before this they had done Ready or Not, which was like just a fun as hell horror movie that kind of had similar vibes to the Scream movies. Had very like just fun dialogue, fun characters. Had like balance of black comedy sprinkled in with like brutal horror and like actual stakes and tension. And when I watched that film, I kind of got that vibe about like, oh yeah, this could. Like, I knew these guys were going to be directing Scream 5, so I was like, okay, like, maybe this could work. This new film could work. And, yeah, this film, it has a similar vein to Ready or Not. Like, you could tell it was just made by horror fans and fans of the Scream franchise.
Oh my god, yes. Especially, like, with like, callbacks and fan service referencing the original. Oh my god. Like, oh.
Yeah,
Dude, to listeners that really like Scream, then I think you would really struggle having a bad time watching this.
Yeah, you won't. It doesn't, like, there's a lot of fan service, and fan service can be really, like, just, it can like, kind of...
It's thin ice.
Yeah, it's thin ice. It can either, like... it can either make or break a film. Like, what's a film that, like, has an excessive amount of fan service that just doesn't work?
Well, this is a bit, probably a problematic... problematic area of discussion, but the new Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, we discussed quite a lot earlier tonight.
Yeah.
And I think with the fan service does not work as a film because it is only fan service and lacks all depth, and it is a meta story that just excludes all meta commentary. Which makes no fucking sense to me. So I think that they do fan service terribly.
Yeah, well, while I enjoyed the film, like, I had a fun time watching it, I do understand, like, the frustrations and, like, just the negativity that you have towards the film. I get why it's a film that won't really please everyone because due to the fan service. Like, the fan service can, like, break someone, I guess,
And with this Scream film, there were so many little details that felt like that they were talking directly to us as like mega horror fans and mega Scream fans, down to like the Dawson's Creek reference that is in the film as like sort of a callback to Kevin Williamson and reference to him because he wrote the series.
See, I didn't even pick up on that was Dawson's Creek playing until I heard them say Dawson, and I was like, oh yeah, well, that's cool. That's a neat little reference, and they don't like go out of their way to like, look at this. This is a reference. This is a reference. This is a reference. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Kind of like what you were saying before, like No Way Home kind of did.
Every fucking scene in No Way Home is look at this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like-
I know that person.
It's like that. I don't know. I feel I'm going to get this wrong, but it's like that South Park episode where it's like there's like an episode with like the member berries where it's like member this, member that. Like
yeah, legitimately.
Yeah, that's like the kind of
it's
kinda
all
like
just
the
fucking member berries.
similarity that I'm like thinking about. Well, yes, like I said, I enjoy the film. I get like the whole film is basically just like you guys remember this, you guys remember that. Yeah,
they don't even serve popcorn at screenings for No Way Home. It's just cartons of member berries. That's all it is. That's my take anyway. But I could go on for. I probably went on for 40 minutes today just talking to Kane about. You talked
a long time.
This.
It was interesting. It was. God, I wish. One day we'll do an episode on like the Tom Holland Spider-Man films.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
I could do all the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And even like down to sound cues in this film are like tiny references for fans.
Yes.
During one of the murder scenes, there's there's one of the songs from the original Scream playing from a car.
You thought it was from Scream 4?
I did, yeah.
It is. I think maybe they played it in Scream 4, but it is from the first Scream when like the town. It's when like Woodsboro is like going into like a curfew and all that, and they're doing like an establishing shot of like the little small town, all the shops closing early and all that, and that song is playing. And when during that murder scene, when that song is playing, that was a really cute that was a really cute like nod to the original that really was appreciated.
Yeah, it's so just like implicit, and if you notice it, and you get something out of it. If you don't, it's a cool song. Like there's no negative out of it that takes away from anything else. Even like the sound cues for when Dewey is on screen.
That low-key gave me chills. Like just the classic Dewey, the Dewey and Gale theme.
Yeah, the Dewey and Gale theme.
It was so nice to hear again.
It's so Dawson's Creek-ish. It's so freaking melodramatic, like relationship drama, and I love that. That gave me chills, which is just like a little thing because it brings you back to those earlier films and those early introductions to those characters, which I freaking love.
You know what was also just really nice? Just hearing the Ghostface voice again. It just felt great hearing it, especially on the big screen, since, this was our first Scream movie in the theaters that we had watched since the last one came in 2011. Like, it just felt great just to hear that voice again. Like, it just felt like just hearing like a old friend talking to you. This friend being like someone that will stab you.
Speaking of that, speaking of like this, like having the original Ghostface voice actor back, is that like so all these films obviously exist in the same universe, and they fit on a timeline very obviously. Where does the Scream TV series fit into the? Is it non-canon? Is it all non-canon? I'm super curious.
Yeah, I don't know because I know fuck all about the Scream TV series, so I can't really say. But maybe it's not canon. Maybe it's just like. I don't know, because like they don't have the same Ghostface mask in that show.
But then the final series, which I'm pretty sure is called something like Scream Resurrection, that does have the original mask.
Oh, really?
And the original voice actor. Yeah.
Okay, then why? Okay, that's weird.
So I don't know how it fits in. I feel like it's probably just alternate reality.
Yeah, I don't think it's canon.
Well, we'll wait for Scream No Way Home for all the different ghost faces to come all in one place.
Can't freaking wait.
Yeah, for Doctor Strange to be like, you know, Ghostface, that everyone will forget who you are.
Oh no!
But except Cindy.
Oh god, Cindy?
Yeah,
this isn't Scary Movie.
Yeah. I don't want Sydney to forget who I am. Well, alternate. There's gonna be Ghostface from that as well.
Bring back the ghost. Oh yes,
that will be cool.
Oh,
because
please.
because Ghostface is existing in other universes.
Yes.
See, that's a spoiler for a movie that Well, that's spoiling Spider-Man in a way that you wouldn't even know unless you know that spoiler.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I really, really liked the characters in this.
Yeah, the group was... I'm always worried going into a slash film or any horror film that just the characters are just going to be stock fucking... they're red shirts, like, they're just to die. But while they're not the strongest cast of characters in the Scream series, I do think compared to some of the other films, a lot better. Like, Scream 3, Like, do you remember any of the characters from Scream 3?
I was gonna say Scream 2 because
Scream 2 is, I guess Scream 2 as well. Well, really, I guess all the Scream sequels kind of pale in comparison when it comes to the side characters.
Scream 4, I think strong side characters.
The only one, actually, yeah, no, now that you mentioned, there's Macaulay Culkin's brother who was the killer. Well, fuck, it's Scream 4. You guys, it's like 10 years old, so it's like, sorry for spoiling that movie.
I think that's all right.
We'll be fine.
It's past its spoiler territory.
Hayden,
I think
Hayden
5 or
Panettiere
10
was in
years.
there.
It's 5 or 10 years is like spoilers are all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that this was like one of the strongest side character films, especially compared to Scream 2, which is. Oh my god!
It had some recognizable actors. I'll give them that. They had
but they just play fucking zero zilch.
What are you talking about, bro? Timothy Oliphant, bro. He had a big role in that film.
So shout out to the people that we had a conversation with after the screening who pitched that Scream 2 was the best one, and we really, really disagree with.
Like, you know, it's good that like they see something in the film that maybe we don't, but like it's just, I don't know, man. Scream 2, that's just it's a bit of a mess of a film. It's a good film. It's fun, but yeah, it's a mess.
I don't even find it that fun. That like only positive thing that I sort of like about Scream 2 is Luke Wilson being stabbed.
Oh my god, yes! And then they mentioned it in the new film.
And then they mentioned it in this, which is awesome. Another little like what a fucking niche reference, bro.
I love it.
So cool.
It's just a nice little wrapped gift for like the hardcore fans of this series.
Yeah, and yeah, if these hopefully that these people that we had a conversation with after the screening are listening to this, because we did plug the podcast to them.
Yes.
So if they are
very shamelessly, might I add.
Oh
yes.
yeah, I know. I went to this screening thinking that it would be a lot more sort of communal, having conversations with people and like potentially like to network and sort of like
it was a bit empty, like crowd wise.
Yeah. So the one interaction that we did have was I very shamelessly was like, yeah, so we do a podcast, we talk about Scream.
We've become those people, like, hey, we have a podcast, guys, you know, we're pretty unique, come on guys, change your life.
We didn't say what it was, they asked. So if you guys are listening, then please reach out, because that would be awesome to know if you actually did look into it. So I think that like some of the highlights for me that are like side characters in this, people like Jack Quaid, who plays Richie. I really, really like that dude.
He was fun, yeah. No, he wasn't my favorite, I'll be honest. But he had a couple funny lines. He had some nice funny lines and all that. That kind of broke the tension in scenes.
He just like gives me. I think it's a shameless sort of selfish. He resembles me quite a bit. He's a skinny white guy with like hair that's usually up and a little bit curly. So I'm like, yeah, that's me.
He reminds me of someone. I have no idea who though. It's
me.
Yeah, you, but like but no, there's someone else that he reminds me of, and I can't put my goddamn finger on it. It's been killing me all night.
Because he's I mainly know him from like one of the leads in The Boys, which is such a fucking good show.
I still haven't gotten to watching it yet.
That is, it's heaps of fun. I think because you've seen Invincible.
I have seen Invincible, and I'm worried I'm going to make those comparisons to I'm going to make comparisons from The Boys to Invincible and all that.
I don't think there's anything
I know that they're
about.
Vastly different shows, but there's just like that thought of like, like they're both superhero shows that kind of like change the formula. And it's like, there's that little bit of a worry, but I think like once I get into it, I should be fine. It's just like I don't know what the word is, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Irrational fear.
So what did you think of our lead in this one, who was Sam? Did you like her?
Look, she was fine. Some of her acting at the start of the film I thought was a bit off.
Very expositionary.
Expositionary and just like a bit flat. Like at least to me, like I wasn't convinced that this person is going through a lot of mental turmoil. She got a lot better later on in the film. It was mainly just that the first act that she was introduced in, I didn't click with her character. I started falling in love with her more as she was developed. But yeah, at the start, it was just like, I didn't really connect with her.
There were some steep, like, tonal shifts mid-sentence for her. Like, as in, or like, just like mood shifts, I think, for her character. Like, she would go to just having a normal conversation to get really, really deep and very emotional, and then they would just turn off all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't get too connected with her, but she was okay. There's also Tara, who I just didn't like. Outright didn't like Tara.
Oh, Tara was the kid, right?
That's the little sister.
That's the little sister.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was like, is she?
She was fine.
A child, or like she could have played a 12-year-old or an 18-year-old.
She looks like a teenager at the start of the film, and then like when she's first introduced, and then like later on in the film, she looks like she's de-aged.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. Like, was it filmed out of order? Where, like, did they film some of the middle scenes when she was younger, and then wait a while until she was older?
Like, she just seems, she is a little bit infantized throughout the film, it feels like. Especially, like, there's a scene with her in, like, the backseat of a car, where she just seems so much just like an 8-year-old girl is just in the back of this car.
It's bizarre, man. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, so that's a bit strange.
She was just kind of like it was just like a nothing character. Not really a nothing character, because she has like quite a bit of the story waving around her, since she's the sister of Samantha, Sam.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, it was kind of like it was like the character Newt in Aliens. Although Newt is a better character. It's like just this little girl that, not really little girl, but you know what I mean. Like
she's
this younger girl that needs to be protected.
I kept on forgetting that she was even friends with the main friend group in this.
True. Actually.
I kept on more assimilating Sam to be in this friend group than her.
Oh, wait, who else was in it? Oh, Dylan Minette's character, Wes.
Oh, yeah, Dylan
I remember we were talking mad shit about him in, like, the ranking episode, I think.
Yeah, we were.
He literally played Clay in this. It literally just felt like I was watching Clay and every other character that... He plays the same character. I think we already yelled about this, but he plays the same character in every film.
But this time, guys... He has bleached hair.
He has bleached hair.
He's a totally different character.
Nice hair, but yeah.
Very nice.
He has bleached hair, and his mother is that a spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait till spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah, that did it feel like that they were introducing him as like the tech whiz guy?
I feel like they were kind of introducing him as like a bit of a tech whiz / like, I kind of thought he was going to be like a secondary protagonist, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's weird.
I think that it felt like that they were introducing him as like really knowledgeable dude who's really smart, really on top of things, and also like I think that sort of ties in though to a lot of these reboots of old slasher franchises or just old films will feel like that they have to incorporate a lot of tech stuff to be updated. Where it feels like that there's a bit of that here at the start.
Oh yeah,
and I'm so glad they lost that.
Yeah,
just in the opening scene alone was like, it felt really forced with
Scream 4 did it a lot, was a lot more heavy handed.
Oh yes, yeah, with everyone's a vlogger.
Oh, so just
Jesus
cringe
Christ.
thinking back on it. Yeah, I get it. It was 2011. It was a more like simpler. It was a not simple time, but it was like they were more egregious with that kind of stuff. Kind of like how like early 2000s films were very like obsessed with showing like the new technology at the time.
In Scream 4, it almost seemed like that they were suggesting that the equivalent of the Randy film nerd character is a Redditor now. Like that. It's a Redditor vlogger who's like a big tech head and like likes movies, but he's more into the web.
I did not like him.
And that's what I thought they were going to make Wes, which where Wes is Dylan Minette's character.
Yeah,
but they didn't. I thought they didn't really do much of it.
It's like Dylan Minette, no offense, man, but you don't carry the same energy as someone like bloody Jamie Kennedy.
He carries no energy whatsoever, I believe.
Look, Dylan Minette, if you listen to this, you play the same character in every movie, but I do like your music, so yeah. I'll say that you carry a lot more. I feel like you carry a bit more emotion in your music.
Okay, I've got to look into this.
Yeah, it's all right. I like his music.
I loved the pacing of this film as well. I thought that it was so well paced. Like I was not bored at any time.
Yeah,
and the whole whodunit aspect of it, which is essential for the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
It kept me guessing.
It's fun.
I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that the eventual conclusion was like obvious or a complete or disappointing and just like it wasn't a Roy Burns situation. It wasn't this random person Roy Burns' situation
Yeah.
is introduce a random character that was in one shot of the film, and they're like, this is the killer, and you could have had no way of figuring it out or anything.
Basically what Scream 2 did with Mickey and what Scream 3 did with
Yes.
Roman. Like, I have a problem when it comes to whodunit films, is that usually a lot of the time the killer reveal is always so disappointing. I watched, speaking of whodunits, I watched Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, and it is a whodunit film, because there is a murder and a mystery, but the eventual reveal is just I don't know, it just felt kind of out of nowhere. And there's actually two killer reveals in that film, and the reveals just felt so, I don't know, it kind of came out of nowhere, and it kind of felt more, it felt obvious.
Mr. Jenkins, I would have gotten away with it too. If it weren't for you meddling kids.
Yeah, it's here
not guessing that it's the one mysterious character that you've been introduced to at the start that could have some sort of motive.
Literally what Scooby-Doo does.
Yeah,
but like Scooby-Doo is less egregious about it because they usually make it obvious, you know?
One of the top letterbox reviews of this new Scream is the Scream franchise has legitimately just become an episode of Scooby-Doo at this point.
Oh yeah, I love this episode of Scooby-Doo where someone gets their throat slashed.
I feel very, very, very lucky that we're like, I think our rating of the Scream movie on Letterboxd was like in the first 1,000.
Yeah.
The first 1,000 ratings. That's pretty good.
Yeah, honestly.
You know, trendsetters. There was, I felt that with the whole like whodunit situation, it was like each character, you're almost out at every character. Like there was no one that I was completely sold on not being the killer.
Yeah.
And like, sorry to bring it back to these people that we had a conversation with. They suggested, right, that the killer reveal in Scream 2 was fantastic, didn't they?
Sure, with Billy Loomis's mum, maybe, but that, you know, I mean, like, they could have, like, the killer reveal was, like, okay compared to Timothy Olyphant's character, but, like, I think we explained this before, that it could have been, like, they should have explained it, developed it better.
That was,
do you know what I mean?
That was borderline fucking Roy Burns situation right there, I think.
Well, no, like, that's what I mean. Is like they should have developed her character instead of like this person that was obsessed with Gale Weathers. They should have had her have that connection to Sydney, like I think we discussed in the Scream 2
exactly.
episode.
And I think it's actually a direct comparison to the whole Roy Burns situation because they just at the end go, this character that you knew the whole time actually happens to be the mother of Billy.
Goodness.
And it's like they didn't hint this at all.
No.
They just pulled it out of their ass.
Yeah, they just bring her in. It's like, all right, you're Billy Loomis's mom. Audience, shut up and eat it up.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god.
And like it. And speaking of this pacing, the freaking climax of this film, the third act, amazing.
Oh,
I thought
great time.
I thought it flew by because it was just a roller coaster and extremely reminiscent of the first film. Oh man, goosebumps, chills the whole time.
Yeah, it was definitely pacing wise, like you said, it didn't really drag at all. There weren't any scenes of like, you know, during like the more expository scenes, it didn't kind of bore me or take me out of the film, like where I wasn't like, oh, I just want to see these characters die, I just want to see the next kill scene. Like it kept me, I was engaged throughout the whole film, which is like, you know, it's hard to do sometimes with horror films because sometimes you lose interest, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Like a problem that like the speaking of requels, the new Halloween that came out a couple years ago, there's quite a lot of scenes and plot lines that like I did not care about. Like, I'm trying to think, like the rip-off Dr. Loomis character from that movie. Did not care about him. I thought it was, and the whole like he wants to hear Michael Myers speak or some crap. I don't know. I don't remember.
What a weird motivation.
I was
want to hear him speak.
I was taken out of it, and and also a lot of like the new characters that were in that film, I didn't really care about. Like this one, I feel like did a better job with these new characters, while still giving us our favorite trio.
How did you like all the references to modern horror and like what was the word that they used for like elevated horror? Was it
elevated horror? I think it was. Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was good. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was a nice way to modernize
because
it.
horror has horror has kind of had a renaissance during the last decade. 2011, that was like the height of like the remakes and all that. You know, you had Platinum Dunes that was just shilling out remakes every right and left. You know, Platinum Dunes, the production company that Michael Bay is that Michael Bay is a part of. You know, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th remakes. They were all made by the same production company. Yeah, that was like when horror was kind of in a dark place. No pun intended, because get it dark.
And they even there was even a scene in this that felt like that they were talking directly to horror fans, pretty much like saying that like that these diehard fans are hard to please, that they don't want anything that's like completely new, like a remake, because people will just shit on that. They don't want the exact same thing either. Because they'll just shit on that and they'll just compare it to the original.
Yeah,
the original,
but they don't want anything
best.
that veers too differently, or else, and it's like it's spat on my childhood kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there was a lot of I felt in the cinema experience, like the freaking audience. I mean, like the freaking movie was talking to us directly at times. It was like they know that we're here.
Yeah,
they know that we're watching. I think that, like, do you think that you're finished with most of your, like, non-spoiler sort of talk?
I'll just quickly take a look. I'll just quickly take a look-see just to see if there was anything else, because, like, I feel like most of my points are, like, have already been said. I'll say this. It's not really a spoiler, but the kills, they're good. They're good. They're like the other Scream kills. Scream has never been one known for its outlandish or excessively creative kills, like say Friday the 13th. It's like kind of in the vein of Halloween, but maybe a bit more. I don't know, I guess it's just kind of in the same vein as Halloween. You know, you got some creative kills, you got some fun kills, you got some really brutal kills, and yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I thought that they were quite good. I thought it made me cringe a lot, like as in good cringe, not that's so lame. But like a lot of these deaths,
this one felt brutal.
Yeah, it felt really brutal. Like it would like close up on the violence.
Yeah,
and it wasn't too graphic that like it wasn't too graphic and realistic.
It makes you sick and all.
It was just like, ooh, like a neck stab made me hold my neck and go, oh
yeah.
God.
And there's like a character, and there's like a part where like someone gets their leg broken, and it's that is just you feel that crunch. Like
that was I would compare that to like the like Scary Movie 1 like self leg break. That's done. It's probably not as bad as a Scary Movie 1 because she's doing it on herself.
Yeah,
but still, like those bone breaking it's far worse than what a knife can do. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. But no, yeah, kill wise, it's good. It's good. It's nothing groundbreaking in terms of like, you know, horror movie kills, but yeah, it's good.
I believe it would be a very strange experience watching this film not having any experience with the Scream franchise. Like this. Like, okay, so when we really try to, gonna really dig deep here. When you dissect like the re-quel term, so reboot and sequel.
Yeah.
So with it being a reboot, that entitles right that you that it's appealing to people that also aren't really invested in the series. Like it being a reboot, it should be like open to new audiences. Where like this would be a very, I think, bland experience if you were not invested in the franchise.
Yeah.
I think it would just be like a solid slasher, but not really leave any impact.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like there would be no emotional investment if you weren't into the franchise.
It'd be like say going to that 2018 Halloween film, having not seen the original, and it's just like, yeah, it's an okay slasher film, but it's like, who is this Laurie Strode character that they've got this big emphasis on? I don't really know nor care about her. Like, yes, she's gone through bad shit, but like, I don't really care about her. And that would be the same kind of experience going into this movie and then seeing like Dewey and Sydney and Gail. I was about to call her Courtney Cox.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. I forgot like Gail's name for a lot of this movie.
You'd be like,
oh my god, Courtney.
You'd be like, oh, this is a shame that they're going through these turmoils, but like, I don't really have that emotion. I'm not feeling it. You know, I'm not feeling that kind of emotion.
All depth would not be there if you were not a Scream fan. I think, or at least like invested in some way.
Oh yeah.
So Are you ready to move on to spoiler territory?
Oh, very much so, yes.
Okay, so I will put in the show notes a timestamp for when the spoiler section is done.
Yes.
So I'm going to give plenty of warning. So spoilers are starting now. Spoilers. Dewey and Gale. Let's talk about that.
I'm so happy that they brought back the relationship troubles. I was
our
hoping
favourite
for
thing.
that. I was fucking hoping for that, and they did it, and I was so happy. Still annoyed, but there was less. There was less of the film focused on that breakup in their relationship since they're divorced, and Dewey's kind of. Was he fired from the police force? He kind of alluded to that. Yeah,
I think so. I think that what they alluded to was that he went off the rails.
Yeah.
He became an alcoholic because of his depressing life, and then was not sufficient in being the sheriff anymore.
So and. Oh, fuck, I just lost my train of thought for a second.
It's okay.
But no, they didn't focus on that they didn't focus on their whole relationship turmoil as much. But what we got, I was very happy with, just because, they've done it in every film. So, it was good that they did it for Dewey's final appearance.
Yes, so Dewey, unfortunately, passes away in this film. He gets slaughtered.
Oh my god!
And I that was one thing that I don't think he had to die. I think maybe it's just because of our emotional connection to him.
Yeah.
Why couldn't Dewey just have a happy ending? He's probably the one that deserves a happy. Actually, I'm gonna rephrase this. I'm gonna rewire it in my brain.
Okay.
Maybe he does get the ending that he needs because he dies a hero. He dies
kind of. He does, but I'll explain my point of view in a minute after you're done.
Because his sort of whole turmoil and his sort of insecurities through the entire franchise, that he's not a man enough, and he's a pussy that isn't willing to stand up and make the big hits.
Mm-hmm.
Where here, I think his final stand was to protect others and sort of put himself in the line of fire.
Yeah.
For others. So maybe he did have that hero's ending that he needed, where him and also the last thing that he saw was Gale calling him back.
Yeah.
And maybe the last thought that he had before dying, and oh my god, I'm gonna die, is Gale still values me.
Yeah.
Gale still she may not be in love with me still, but she still values me and wants me to be a part of her life or something. So maybe it was he had the strength to defend others, and he knew that his meaning with Gale was not lost.
Yeah.
So maybe he did have the ending that he needed. But I just fucking hate that so many of the deaths in this film are the whole thing the Scream is known for is that everyone is aware that they're in a slasher movie, basically, and they know the rules. They know how they're gonna die, or how people do die in slasher movies, and then they do it, and then they fucking do it.
Oh my goodness!
I gotta go back and shoot him in the head to make sure that he's dead. What? And then you walk in slow motion to get there, and then you slowly put the gun against their head, and then get distracted by phone.
Right at point blank range, right near them as well. You couldn't have just done it from a distance,
Yeah, exactly. I wish that I would have been pretty. I think that I was probably pretty annoying in the screening if anyone noticed me, because I was very animated during certain points.
I could see it didn't bother me that much, but I could see you being pretty animated. Yeah,
I was just at times what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? I wasn't saying anything, but my body couldn't help it.
Yeah.
That I was just flailing around what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
They're we can't be alone. Leave anyone alone. Okay, everyone, let's split up.
Yeah.
It was shit like that.
It's just
they get to the
Sally falls into those horror conventions of of characters just going stupid.
What's his name? Chad? Chad's the jock, right?
Yeah.
Chad's I'm not gonna have sex with my girlfriend because she might be the killer, and she may take me upstairs and kill me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Smart
be risky and save that at the risk of not fucking. But I'm going to go outside and hang out in some bushes by myself alone.
That was just so stupid. You were going so well, man. What are you doing? You're the son of Randy. Was he the son?
Oh, no, the nephew.
You are the nephew.
Randy was their uncle.
You are the nephew of Uncle Randy, the man who created these rules. What are you doing? Your sister was more knowledgeable. What are you doing?
I do not get it. I don't fucking get it.
Can we just go back to the Dewey thing for a second?
Yeah.
I just want to say that, like, I figured it was his time to die because I just figured it was a new film. They've constantly teased, like, the Dewey dying. I think, like, Dewey's been, like, attacked in each and every one of these films.
I think he said in this movie that he's been stabbed 9 times.
Yeah, so, like, it's a cute reference to, like, all the times he's been fucked up in these films. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, every dog has his day, this is going to be his day. But, and, like, the way they kind of introduce him is, like, he's, like, in a bad place. He's an alcoholic, he's lonely, he's divorced. He's this fallen hero, and you think that, like, they're gonna do this, like, hero's journey, this, like, redemption arc kind of thing, and they do that. They do, but they don't. The way it ends for him, I don't like the way that they killed him. I get what you said. Like, he does die saving people, and he kind of, like, proves to himself and to others that he is a man that can, like, that will. What was it that you said? Like,
he'll put himself in the line of fire.
Put himself in the line of fire. But I don't know. I just feel like it could have been done better. Like, I feel I would have liked him to maybe have died saving Gale or saving Sydney or something, like, more, I don't know, I wanted something more dramatic, I guess. Like, yes, this felt dramatic, and you felt that pain. It wasn't an awful character death, but it just felt kind of a bit cheap. It just felt like it was a death for shock value. Like, yes, he's saving these characters that he does not know, and yes, that is noble, but couldn't you have done him saving Gale or Sydney or someone? Like, why?
I would have liked him to have a little bit more of a happy ending. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, yes, I don't know, it didn't feel like enough of a hero sacrificing himself for the greater good.
Especially that, like, you mentioned this in the car, that him and Gale had, like, one scene together.
Yeah, they have one scene!
They are, pretty much each of their characters are based off of one another, I think. Like, the strength in their characters are based off one another.
Yeah.
Gale, I think, is such a strong character because of her relationship with Dewey and vice versa.
Yeah.
And they only have one direct interaction.
It's ridiculous. And their one interaction is just more arguing.
Yeah, it's more arguing with the fucking Dawson's Creek music in the background.
My goodness, love it.
Which is a nice sort of reference, a little bit annoying, though. And then he dies, and she's like, oh god, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, rest in peace. And then her and Sydney are literally having banter, like, later on in the film. Like, dude, your ex-husband just died, bruh. This should be rocking you to the core. I get you want revenge, and you got that kind of revenge, like, adrenaline and all that. But, like, dude, like, I don't know. But then again, it is a movie, so, like, whatever.
My favorite thing, though, about Dewey's death scene was when Ghostface stabs him, rips out his insides, and goes, "It's an honor."
Oh, that was kind of cool.
What I love about that was that it at least ended, that was probably the final thing that he heard, at least it left him knowing that he left a legacy.
Yeah.
And that also, it's an honor, this Ghostface killing him.
Yeah.
Because he has dodged death by so many Ghostfaces in the past.
So for this new Ghostface to finally, eviscerate him, it would feel like an honor. Like, I got him. I finally got him.
I was the Ghostface that took down Dewey.
Yeah.
Which that's actually, like, I think that's a really, really strong moment.
Yeah.
That's something that's my favorite thing about the death scene, without a doubt.
No, that was a neat touch, yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was funny was that so this all happens in the hospital.
Yeah.
So he died, and then there's also, like, more injuries for, like, the other people there.
Mm-hmm.
So where are they taken? Are they like, where's Dewey's body taken? It wouldn't be like it was wheeled out of the hospital to be taken where, to another hospital.
They're taking him to
be
just
to get what's it called, like, analyzed.
They're taking him just to the local fire pit in Woodsboro.
Oh god!
Just chuck him in there, cremate him and all that shit. Like what?
Like the injuries that were given on Richie and Tara. It's like they're taken out of the hospital. Are they then brought back into that same hospital to get operated on?
Oh, it's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah. I thought that These horror requels are really liking these hospital bases at the moment.
Yeah, isn't like Halloween Kills located
Halloween
in
Kills
a
is
hospital
half in a hospital, basically.
Well, I mean, like, it does fit, because, like, you know, the original Halloween 2 was in a hospital, so, you know, nice touch, but it's like, yeah, well, they love their hospitals, don't they?
But in this one, it does it in a very weird way.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of these people going to hospital, man, the characters are strong in this.
Yeah, dude, they're tanks.
They dodge death like fucking, like, martial artists.
Oh my goodness.
Tara in the first scene. So, opening of this, the whole Drew Barrymore opening slasher scene.
Yeah.
So Tara takes the place of Drew Barrymore's character.
But they do a nice subversion of expectations by having her live.
Yeah.
They brutalize the fuck out of her.
But she is fucking brutalized.
What?
She gets stabbed so many times.
Yeah.
She gets, like, and like, her throat, didn't the throat get slit at the end?
They alluded to the throat slit at the end, but it's like, no, she's okay. Like, did Ghostface just, like, was he like, I'll come back for you, my pretty?
I have no idea how she lived through that.
Yeah.
That is bizarre. She is an absolute tank.
Oh, speaking of tanks, at the climax, like, dude, like, Gale gets shot right in the gut, and it's full of, like, running around, and, like, Cindy gets stabbed, like, I think in the side, was it?
Oh, yeah,
Cindy gets stabbed, and it's like...
And twisted.
That was Sam. And, like, they all get, like, Cindy, Gale, and Sam, they all get, like, stabbed and shot. But they're, like, running around, like, perfectly fine, pretty much. Like,
must have just missed the vital organs.
I guess. But it's like, damn, man. Like, oh, I'd be crying like a bitch. After a cut. Like, a stab? Fuck that.
They are freaking tanks. Even, like, in the final act, Chad and Chad's sister...
Oh, my, that was complete bull.
Oh, they both get pretty brutalized.
Yeah.
And then, final scene... I'm good. Getting wheeled into the ambulance.
Just a thumbs up, like his sister. Oh, what was his sister's name? Because I really liked her.
Yeah, she was really
my favorite side character out of all them. You know, partly because, you know, she's basically the new Randy of this series of this episode, this film entry. But she was
Mindy. Mindy.
Okay, yeah.
Mindy is what this world needs. We need a lesbian stoner Randy.
Yes,
that's the next evolution.
We love lesbian stoner Randy. Yes.
Did you notice that when she was getting wheeled out, she had a little rainbow flag badge on her?
No, I didn't.
It was like, we can't kill the gay character.
Oh,
we can't do that. We've got to let her live.
Her living, it doesn't make sense, but I could buy that more than fucking Chad. Like, Chad living, because he stabbed, like, I thought he got stabbed in the nuts at first.
Oh, yeah, same,
the way it was shot, I thought he got stabbed in the nuts, when he was stabbed, like, right in, like, the thigh.
I think that probably this ghost face, or, like, these ghost faces, they seemed the most angry out of all of them.
Yeah, they gave me, like, Rob Zombie, Michael Myers vibes. They were going hard,
where they just kept on stabbing and stabbing.
Like, it just reminded me of, like, like, when Octavia Spencer gets killed in Halloween 2, when Mike was just going nuts, just stabbing, really fast. He was doing it to Chad, and it's like, bro, how did you live through that? What? But yeah, they go ham in this.
Yeah, it's the most brutal Scream.
Yeah, oh yeah,
out
definitely.
of all of them.
Yeah, they go hard.
And like, speaking of Mindy as the Randy character, so we do see Jamie Kennedy in this. We see a painting of Jamie Kennedy. There's a Jamie Kennedy home cinema shrine
memorial,
and that was pretty much I think one of the only times that I interacted with Kane during the film.
Yeah,
I could not help but just put my hand over and touch him and go, my man.
Oh,
my man.
We had to just remember that. I was actually thinking, like, were they going to have a Randy bit? Because they had a Randy bit in all the films. You know, they had Randy in the first two, then they had the video recording in the third film, then they had that I don't really remember his name, the incel vlogger guy, the Redditor vlogger.
Oh, yeah.
He was supposed to be the Randy, and it's like, it didn't work, but they still had him.
Yeah.
And then this one, it's like, yeah, they had, like, the next generation of Randy, which is what they should have done with Scream 4. You know, they had the next generation of Randy, except...
Well, yeah, the Redditor.
Well, yeah, but, like...
Redditor, Randy, Scream 4.
No, I don't like that.
No, I disagree.
Yeah.
And this also ties to my favourite cameo in the film of Randy's sister, who holds as much impact as her appearance in Scream 3. She legitimately... Her presence fits the same mould to fit in a Randy reference and deliver an object into the scene.
Oh, it was
she
great.
Comes in
best character in the film
to deliver some cookies and go, "Hey everyone, I'm Randy's sister. Bye."
Oh, yes.
That is all that she fucking does in this.
Can't wait to see you in Scream 6, baby.
To go, "Hey, I'm Randy's sister. Here's some brownies. Bye." That's what's in Scream 3. Her whole presence is, "Hey, I'm Randy's sister. Here's a videotape of Randy. See ya."
Oh my goodness, it was
so funny.
What a cameo, man! What a cameo!
And like I looked it up. It's the same actress.
Yeah. Heather Matarazzo, or however you pronounce her last name.
Oh, not very nice. Very nice. I have no idea what it is.
I don't know what else she's been in. I know she's in this one film called Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Yes, yeah.
And like she's pretty great. She's pretty great in that film.
Oh, have you seen it?
Like I watched like most of it, but I not enough to log it in though.
Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces on SBS when I was like 12, and it scared, like it freaked me out.
It's an upsetting film.
Yeah, it upset me so much, but I really want to watch it now.
I want to like finish watching it, but yeah, it's really upsetting, man. Like,
there's a very, very special feeling to fill in the gaps of an SBS movie that you saw parts of when you were a child.
Yes, I get that. That's how I felt with Ang Lee's Hulk. Like I watched bits and pieces a lot. So, but I always stopped watching because like the whole plot of like Hulk's dad murdered his mother. That always upset me as a kid. and so you know, and then I watched the full film and. It's shit. It's so boring. The only like highlight is Nick Nolte's just ridiculous performance as the villain, aka Bruce Banner's father in that film. Like he was the one saving grace. But we're not here to talk about Hulk. We're here to talk about Scream 5.
Yeah. So to take it back to good old the character Wes in this.
Yes.
But played by Dylan Minnette.
Our boy Dylan Minnette.
Yeah, Dylan Minnette. So he plays the son of the new sheriff in town,
Judy Hicks.
Judy Hicks. I think that Sydney looks like the prettiest.
Oh, Neve Campbell has aged gracefully.
Oh man, she has aged like a fine wine.
How old is she? She'd be like in her 40s right now, right?
Oh, let's give it a look.
Yeah, because like she still looks the same as how she did in the 90s, and yeah, she looks
48. And
48.
She I think is like more beautiful in this film than in any of the other Scream movies.
She looks great in this, and like. Oh god, we just sound like just bloody just.
And same with Judy Hicks. Man, she's not aged a fucking day.
She's not aged a day.
I was crazy. Like, what's going on here? And she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Got to shout out the boys. Very, very handsome boys.
The boys were all very handsome. Yes, they were. Chad. Yeah. Shout out to Chad. Very good looking boy.
Dylan Minnette is probably the hottest that I've seen him with his bleached hair because he doesn't just look like default character, default Dark Souls character.
Yeah. He doesn't have that awful haircut that he had in 13 Reasons Why. Thank goodness.
Yeah. And both of them, Judy Hicks as well as Wes Hicks, they both died pretty early on in the movie.
Yeah, like I don't know. I thought that they were kind of setting up Wes to be kind of like the love interest for Tara. Tara. Yeah. Because like they make a mention of it, and I'm thinking like, okay. And also there was like a lot of scenes involving him at the start. He's the one that tells Samantha about Tara getting stabbed. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he's going to be kind of like the love interest for Tara and all that, and he'll die protecting her. No, they kind of just drop that, and then they just. Die really, really early.
Yeah, really early, and like his was probably one of the most probably not the most brutal death.
It was kind of one of the weaker deaths for me, honestly. Like I don't know, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I wanted to see Clay from 13 Reasons Why really get fucked. Because like his character sucks in that show, man.
You wanted Dylan Minnette's character to get killed with a broom. And that's
Is that what I said?
No.
Oh, okay. No. Is that what I said when we were talking about him in the last episode?
No, you didn't.
Okay,
but this is just me saying that the only way they would have had a satisfying death is a callback to 13 Reasons Why and getting killed with a broom.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Oh well, I can't always get what we want.
I think it's just like the knife through the neck because it was really close and hovered on that. I held my neck that whole time.
Yeah, it was well done. It's just I don't know. It was just one of the weaker deaths for me, which is like whatever. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Most gruesome has to be Dewey's.
Yeah. I mean, Judy's death was also pretty graphic as well. Like it was. I don't know. Well, not graphic, but it was pretty like
Judy's. No, I don't.
Judy Hicks. Like I don't know. Just her death. Just maybe it's just because she was like a developed character from a previous film. It hit a bit more.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She also just like such an innocent. Like not that anyone deserves to be killed in this, but she like seemed like an especially virtuous character.
She didn't. Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, she's just didn't do anything wrong. Like
who like probably is just because we like Dewey, and then like she was giving Dewey the attention in Scream 4 that Gale wasn't giving him, and she's just been consistently virtuous and lovely, and yeah, that's probably why it sort of hurt so much.
Yeah.
But most of them like hit. Besides probably some of the the early third act deaths, I sort of didn't care too much about Chad dying and stuff.
I was a bit. I was like, oh, but then like obviously he was alive, so it like didn't really matter. His girlfriend, that the only reason it impacted.
Liv.
Yeah, Liv. The only reason it was impactful was just because she was like shot, and she was shot, and then that's when they did the killer reveal. Where what was it? What was the killer's name? Like the girl?
Oh, her name.
What was her name? Like.
Okay, I'll look it up here.
Amber.
Oh yeah, Amber. Yeah, I totally forgot.
Yeah,
that makes sense why she's at the start of the movie.
I kind of thought the Amber reveal was a bit of. I kind of was like as the film kind of progressed, I was thinking like, okay, it's going to be Amber. I think.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't make sense if Liv was the killer, or if like Chad or someone was the killer. Maybe a tiny bit if it was like, maybe a tiny bit if it was like Chad or like, what was his sister's name again?
Mindy.
Like Mindy, maybe because like I don't know, like fans of horror films, but like no, I don't know. It's like you kind of got a bit of an off vibe from Amber, so yeah, it kind of like I kind of expect. I was kind of hoping that Dylan Minnette would have been the killer. I just thought that would have been funny, honestly.
It
would have been terrible, but it would have been funny.
Would have been weird because he's just so flat all the time. So him explaining his motives would have just been like. I wanted to kill
imagine
you
him going
I wanted
all,
to be famous.
Imagine him going all manic like Richie does in the film.
Yeah.
Like Richie just goes full like Stu in this and just goes really manic. And
not to the level of Stu.
No, not to Matthew Lillard's extent, but you know, he's trying and he did a decent job. It didn't feel too hammy or like cringe, you know?
This whole third act bonkers. And I loved it.
It was so much fun.
This was the perfect freaking bookend for Scream fans, I think.
Yeah.
With so it's set in Stu's house. A party had just broken out in Stu's house. Everyone has gone home.
And they don't,
same setup
they
as
don't
this.
Tell you. They don't tell you like that it's at the house until like maybe halfway through the third. Like until Sydney gets there, then it's like you're at Stu's house, and then the big reveal because like they kind of hint at it.
When they reveal it is when Sam is in the little foyer area, and they do this amazing like pan of the foyer with her in the middle, and you realize that the layout is the same because we've been for the past 15 minutes before this. All the scenes are done in the house anyway, but the lighting is it's very low light. You can't make out the layout of the house. You wouldn't recognize it as Stu's house.
And you're not like thinking like, oh, this is going to be at like one of the original houses and all that.
Yeah,
you're not thinking that. You're just thinking like, oh, it's just at a generic fucking party house.
Yeah. The only sort of hint before that is that they show on the map that it's a house surrounded by no other houses.
Yeah.
And then this panning shot and the realization, phenomenal.
Yeah, that's just wow.
Oh, just awe-inducing. Which is what I was just the whole time. Every sort of shot like that. Like there was another really, really nice panning. I think it was like a dolly zoom of Sydney getting to the house.
Yes,
and then just sort of panning slightly up to make the house look like that it's like sort of rising out of the ground. So fucking
it was
cool.
So well done. Like that was like the third act had some of the best. Like that was probably like the shots of like the house reveal were like probably the best shots in the film. Like they were just beautifully done. Like and you can't and you know it gave me chills and like you can't say that about like a reveal of a house. A house reveal gave me chills. Like that's good job, Scream 5.
And I thought that it was like how this because obviously it reflects and mirrors the final act of Scream 1 like very closely, but it does that perfect balance that it mentions early in the film anyway for a re-quel that it needs to do is to make it like keep some patterns of the original, but still adapting it enough to make it new and interesting. And I think it did that so freaking well.
Yeah.
Like, I could not have... I have no suggestions to how they could have made that better, other than maybe the explanation of the motive coming from Richie.
Oh my goodness!
100% gamer moment, man.
It was.
It's a gamer moment.
It was a literal film bro.
Film bro.
The killer is a film.
Rant.
The killer is a film bro / a redditor.
Yes.
They
literally read it up. They met on Reddit.
Met on a stab subreddit, and then they're talking about how like, they're killing because Stab 8 was such a shit movie. So they're like, we're going to create our own movie, but we're not going to film any of it. We're going to hope that they make a new film based off the killings again. Like, what is your plan? Like,
yeah,
what?
like, because the original being the best, it was the best because it was based off of true events, which they were trying to make the true events the basis of that. But then also, there's been 3 other big mass homicides in this universe that would have obviously spawned Stab movies after all.
It's so weird because, like, with all the films previous, they all had, like, a tie into Sydney. And this one, the only tie they had was, Sydney's famous, so we need to get, like, the famous girl back in here to kill her to really, like, set ourselves apart from the other Stab movies. Like, there was, like, I thought there was going to be a connection with, like, Billy and Stu again. I thought that Sam was Sydney's daughter. I thought that that's the direction they were going because she's like the daughter of Billy Loomis. And I'm thinking, like, okay, so did Billy? But then, like, actually, now that I just realized that doesn't make sense. Like me thinking about that before, because like Sydney and Billy had never had sex until like Scream the third act of Scream, but like maybe was Sydney pregnant during like in between Scream 1 and 2, and they just did not tell us about a baby, like they just retconned it. What?
I do like this this possibility that between Scream 1 and 2, Sydney was pregnant and had a baby, and she just didn't mention it. And also, they just didn't mention it. Didn't think that like it was important.
No
bigger
worries.
Fish to fry.
Don't feel like talking about it.
It's fine. Just a baby.
Just a baby.
Yeah, just a baby. But if there would be one thing to drive me to homicide, it probably would be Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell. Mm-hmm. So I sort of can relate with Richie. I understand. A movie can be so bad to drive you to homicide.
Yeah, true. I mean, I guess I'd feel the same if we're you're Jason Goes to Hell, I'm Dirty Grandpa. So, Bad Grandpa was the Jackass one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I haven't seen Bad Grandpa. Dirty Grandpa, yes, I would definitely go to fucking homicide. Like that, that is
I can just imagine me being on my deathbed. I have a couple of stab wounds in me from you, and you're here like getting all the exposition out, telling me they're gonna make Dirty Grandpa 2 based on a true story on this.
Oh my goodness.
And it's gonna be good.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I thought that the killer reveals were not too obvious and didn't feel like a cop-out either.
No, they didn't feel weak like, Scream 2 and Scream 3 and all that,
Yeah, they're having Richie and then good old Amber as this duo. I believed it and enjoyed it. I thought that was really, really satisfying.
The film bro boyfriend and the Redditor girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. The quirky Redditor girlfriend.
Be careful with those Redditors. Be careful with them.
Yeah, that's why I don't use Reddit, guys.
Yeah, it's not good.
Dude, do you think Richie uses Letterboxd?
Fuck yeah. Oh my god.
Actually, why am I asking that? Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, man.
Oh god, we all have a little bit of Richie in us, I guess.
He would do the same sort of reviews that I do, where they would just be far too in depth and no one would read them.
Hey, I read them, mate.
Thank you, Kane. Thank you. I know that you do. You do. You're one of the good ones, Kane.
Exactly.
And we also have to talk about probably the best death in the entire Scream franchise, which is Amber getting covered in vodka.
God, yeah.
Shot multiple times.
No, it was hand sanitizer.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, she literally says hand sanitizer.
I thought that she said that though because it was like alcohol and I thought it was a bottle of like Absolute vodka.
Oh, mate, I think it might have been Absolute. Why did she say hand sanitizer?
Alcohol anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Alcohol anyway, she gets covered in.
Yeah.
And then shot multiple times, accidentally turns on the stove in this tussle, lands on the stove covered in alcohol.
Burnt to a crisp.
And just burns to a fucking crisp.
Oh.
And also her dying too by like this duo of Sydney and Gail is just so satisfying.
Oh,
It's done so well. Oh my god.
Loved it.
Oh, so nice.
And also, Richie's death was great. Was really
yeah.
well done, especially because, like I mentioned before, one of the themes of Sam's character is that she's worried she's going to turn out like her father. She's worried that she's got a little bit of a father in her. The psychopath, the being the daughter of a serial killer. You think like, is that going to pass down to me? And she full on goes serial killer mode at the very end.
Hardcore.
I'll explain. I'll talk about the visions in a second. But she goes full on hardcore, full on Billy Loomis, full on serial killer mode, and in a way, you kind of think like, is this like when she's gonna snap? Like, do you think she like? There's kind of you kind of wonder to yourself, is she gonna snap? Is there like a little bit of her that like broke after this, since this is the first time she's ever killed, and she does have mental issues and all that plague her. And I'm not saying that people with mental issues that are born, that have parents that are like bad people, like serial killers or murderers or do criminal shit, but like I don't know,
digging yourself in a hole.
I am digging myself a hole, but I don't know. I just got the vibe that the film kind of had a little bit of a tease that maybe that kill broke her,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
If they were going to make a Scream 6, they could totally justify the her motivation. She got a taste for blood and then keep it going.
It's kind of like how, we keep talking about Friday the 13th Part 5, it's like how Friday the 13th Part 5 ends with Tommy Jarvis, like, putting on the hockey mask and raising the knife to the love interest in that film at the very end, and they tease like, oh, Tommy Jarvis is going to be the killer?
Is that in Part 5?
That is in Part 5. It's also teased in Part 4 as well.
Okay.
They do the Tommy Jarvis killer tease twice, and I don't know. They don't do it as blatantly in this one, but I don't know. I just got that vibe.
I could see that. Yeah. I could see that happening.
Could we quickly just talk about Billy Loomis?
Oh yes,
comeback?
Yeah. Go for it.
What the fuck was that? I think that's actually a really great idea. The daughter of Billy Loomis, have her be plagued by visions of her young father. Yeah, that's cool. Why does de-aging look so bad though? It looks so creepy.
It's not an effective de-aging.
It works because Billy was already a creepy looking guy in the original. He looked like creepy, rapey Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
I think that's what we said about him in the original. I just remember I was really hammering,
really ripped on him.
Yeah, really ripped on him, and so he looks creepy in this, but it just looks goofy as fuck. And every time I saw it, I just couldn't take it seriously. When he's kind of directing her towards the knife at the very end, it's like a bloody it just reminds me of like a you need some help, kid. Yeah. Catch.
You know what I find really interesting about how she sees her dad as well, because how she pictures him is how he looks right before his death, like with the stab, like the self-inflicted wound, where I thought I was going to make the nitpick that how did she know what he looked like just before he died, but the only sort of visual representation that she would have of her dad is from the first stab movie.
Yeah.
So how interesting is that? Of course that she's going to be fucked up from this.
Yeah.
Is that all she would have is like photos of what he really looks like.
Yeah.
And then the only sort of visual representation of him moving and living
talking,
would be from the stab movies.
Played by Luke Wilson.
Yeah, played by Luke Wilson.
What, dude? They should have just had the visions be of Luke Wilson.
yeah. Luke Wilson's looking in the mirror.
Oh my! If that was the case, I would have given this film 10 out of 10. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Would have been a 5 out of 5, but lost that star for lack of Luke Wilson.
Yeah, but it's all right. Something we're gonna live with.
It really works well with our Wes Anderson podcast.
I feel like I do think the whole Billy, seeing visions of Billy Loomis is a great idea. They don't really do it that much though, and when it is done, it's just they could have done it less. Obviously the de-aging effects, not great. I wish they were better, and maybe just had a couple more scenes kind of developing that whole issue of her seeing visions of Billy Loomis, I guess.
Yeah.
I wanted more out of that. I feel like that was an interesting story beat that they could have explored more.
Yeah, definitely. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But it wasn't explored so little that it just felt pointless, you know what I mean? They did all right, but I wanted more.
I think that they probably just wanted to stack as many of the original cast as they could in this.
Yeah, true.
And they were like, let's get this guy in here. Would have been nice to see a little bit of Matthew Lillard, but it's all right. You can only get so much.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get at Stu's house, but not not the Batman.
Matthew Lillard was busy. He was busy in He's All That. Sorry, the Addison Rae film.
Is he?
He is in He's All That because he's in She's All That as well.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen She's All That. I just know that he's in it, and he plays like the prince. He has the one funny line in He's All That.
Okay,
but the one unironically funny line.
Of course,
I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
You ready?
Yes. I'll just grab my water, boys.
Okay.
And girls.
So, our final thoughts and ratings of this film. I adored it, thought that there could be no other way that I could conceive of for this to be better. Obviously, not the perfect film. And the only sort of like... It's only sort of nitpick things that certain characters will seem a little bit pointless. But the actual narrative and how it exists as a Scream film in the franchise, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
So I would give this like probably 4 out of 5 stars.
Dang.
I recommend it to like any Scream fan, and I hope that there's not any more. Like there's,
I feel like they're gonna make another one. I feel like they're gonna do it. I feel like this film's gonna do pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do well as well.
Yeah, and then there's gonna be a Halloween Kill situation where the next one's just gonna kind of flop.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, but who knows?
I am so... and how this fits in my ranking is... So, of course, Scream 1 is still at the top.
Yeah.
I, right now, could still be in honeymoon phase for this. I think this probably goes in number 2 position.
No, you reckon?
So, for my ranking, probably goes Scream 1, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay.
That's my updated ranking.
Yeah.
And it could change over more meditation, but I think that is where I'm at. How about you?
Okay. I think, look, I'm going to give this film, I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 out of 10 on this. God, I just sounded like Fantano for a second. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to see myself out. I've become a pretentious wanker. Nah, just kidding. Shout out to you, Fantano. But anyways, no, I think I really liked this movie. I really enjoyed it. I just think, for me, a really good film is a high 7 out of 10. But I just don't think there's going to be like an amazing amount of staying power for me. It's a film that I really enjoy. Maybe I'll rewatch in like a year or two. But, at the end of the day, it's a really good film that maybe might not have the most staying power, but the stuff that is memorable is really memorable, and it's really good. I really enjoy it. And yeah, there's not really much to criticize. There's not a lot to criticize. It's mostly just my own personal taste as to the reason why I'm ranking it a bit lower than like your score and all that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's mostly just like personal taste because like I don't know. I feel like I've kind of fallen off of slashers a bit. Like slashers are not my favorite horror genre, but so I think that's why like it's a bit lower because like sometimes I just lose my patience when it comes to slashers, especially like the dragging out how obvious some of the kills are going to be. This character's going to die, blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, a lot of fake outs in this movie.
It really drags down films for me. But at the end of the day, it's a great film. It has some stupid character moments, some character stuff that maybe was missed potential, and just stuff that personally to me just didn't kind of rub me the wrong way. But at the end of the day, it's a really fun film. Also, really appreciate the Dead Meat shout out, the Dead Meat cameo,
the Dead Meat cameo?
The YouTube video that Richie is watching of the two people talking about Stab 8, how bad it is. That is a YouTube channel called Dead Meat where they where they do kill counts of horror movies and talk about like the making of horror movies and like review them and all that. Great channel. Love James and Chelsea. Shout out to you guys. If you guys are listening, please be listening. I love you guys.
Imagine if we got this podcast out a few years earlier. That could have been us.
Oh, I know.
Imagine
I know.
That could have been us in there.
Oh my goodness.
It's okay. Our time will come for Scream 6.
I got
Screams. Is what it's going to be called.
I did get really giddy though when I saw them, so that was a really nice, cute cameo. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's
at the end of the day,
it is the end of the day. It's like 3 in the morning. What time is it?
It is 3.
It is 3 in the morning. Fuck. But yeah, no, it's a fun film. I had a great time with it, and I highly recommend it. Really, you only really have to see the first movie. There's not much to do with the other films, except maybe like watching Scream 4 to know who Judy Hicks is. But it's like That's the only kind of context you need from the sequels. You're fine just watching the first one and going into this one if you don't want to, like, you know, watch the inferior sequels.
Yeah, that's what we said to one of the Hoyts workers afterwards, was that we said they would enjoy it a lot more if they had some sort of investment in the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you think I should watch them beforehand? And we said, maybe just the first one.
Yeah, just the first one, and then you're
It'll
all
give
good.
you enough.
It's like watching the first Halloween movie and then watching the Halloween 2018 film. You only need to watch the first one, although that one was more purposeful because like they erased like the rest of the timeline.
That's just retconned all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Where this way it's more like the essence of it, and even just like if those sort of references back to the Stu's party and everything, maybe if they didn't resonate or hit as hard with someone who's only seen the first one, at least they would sort of get it and see, oh, okay, I know what they're referencing. I see what they're trying to do here.
I think ranking wise, I don't remember what my ranking was because it's been a while.
It was the same as mine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was the first ranking that we had.
Can I put Scream 4 above Scream 3?
I'm quite confident, yes.
Because I don't know, I feel like I kind of have more memorability towards Scream 3. Not gonna lie,
I'm pretty sure. Well, it could have changed.
This is
your updated list.
Anyways, here's my updated list. I haven't seen the Scream movies since we did the episodes, but for me, it's Scream 1, Scream 5, Scream 3, 4, 2.
So Scream 5 is your number 2 as well?
I'd say so, yeah. Scream 3 is very close, but that's purely just because Scream 3 is almost so bad it's good, just from how stupid and ridiculous the film is.
Oh, Scream 3, just same sort of thing with just the side characters. I'm almost ranking these movies based on their side characters.
Well,
almost.
Yeah, a film is only as good as its characters, even with horror films. And they never prioritize characters half the time, but you know what I mean. They need a strong side. They need a strong cast of characters to get you to give a shit.
Yeah, you're very, very right.
Yeah.
I think extremely true statement.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
Well, anyway, I think that's where we should leave it. It's been about an hour and a half now. It's at 3 a.m. and I'm starting to actually get quite tired.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for listening to our update podcast for Scream 5 and our first episode of Marathon Me 2.0.
2.0 in 2022.
2022.
Let's go. The year of the Marathon Me.
And one last shout out to Hoyt's High Point for getting us these pre-screening tickets. We appreciate you immensely.
God bless you guys.
Have a great one. Good night.
See you guys. Good night.
And don't forget to check out our Facebook page at Marathon Me Official, all one word, and our Instagram, marathonme_official, to keep up to date on the podcast. And hey, if you want to get into contact with us, email us at marathonmepodc, yes, the letter C, @gmail.com. Like a podcast without the ask.